there are two ways to tell something: verbal or oral or spoken, we can say, and written also. Actually, we already explained some speaking steps. Let's look at these steps in terms of writing. We can define the stage of writing the same as speaking actually. Almost all stages seem to be similar. For example, when we want to say something, we think first what to say. Almost all people, even 3-year-old kids, do this automatically. This automatic system is actually quite similar to brainstorm. If you watch our other videos, you can probably remember what we said. A system is important for everything, especially speaking and writing, like a clock, like an engine. So, brainstorming is the first step of this system. Big or global companies always do this to create big ideas from tiny and stupid thoughts. Of course, you may ask yourself how you can do this in your own life. You can easily find a good way to solve your problem with brainstorming, and also you can find a good idea, of course. In the process of brainstorming, you need to make a list first. All the things, without criticizing. You need to freely support all ideas to collect them. Then you can categorize them. After categorizing, you open these ideas for discussion with your friends, colleagues, groups, or no one if you don't want. You can also discuss it in your mind. You may find the idea which mostly proved with this method, by yourself, with a group, even the public. Sometimes global producers do this to decide their new product's shape, test, and packages also. Of course, this is also a brainstorming technique, globally brainstorming. They may create a questionnaire and then ask the public. Of course, you don't need to make it globally. If you need to write something only 5 or 6 paragraphs, maybe in your TOEFL sections, or not important in your academic paper maybe, I strongly recommend you to take a short time to brainstorm. If you don't do this even a bit, you can of course say something, but it may not reach the target point. And probably you will not be able to organize your idea. Brainstorming is the way to associate ideas and stimulate thinking. To brainstorm starts with a phrase, even a word. So you need to make a list of ideas as quickly as possible. Put down whatever comes to your mind without looking back, without organizing and without criticizing. I know that it seems a bit difficult, but be sure that even 5 minutes is enough. Then you can organize your short essay depending on what you listed. The most basic rule to write an essay is to organize, of course. Think your best speaker. How did he or she start to speak? With a brief introduction, of course. Think your favorite novel or a short story or an outdoor speaker. All of them start to say something with an introduction part. Think your favorite football team. They should organize a good attack to make a goal, to make a score, of course. If you were a football player and if you started to attack to score a goal, you would probably wait for your teammates to help you. That means sometimes you need to be supported to reach your aim. In the same manner, your sentences need to be supported to reach your aim, to be well understood. So that means you need to start with a basic, brief introduction, and then you need to support your idea, which you stated in the introduction part. The introduction contains introductory information such as why the topic is important or why the process is done, also your purposes and reasons for it. The introduction also states the main idea of the essay in the thesis statement, which names the process and which shows that there is a series of steps. But you also need to support them, as I said. Well, how can you support your opinion, your idea? You can use a number of ways to support them. In academic writing, you can use some questions, questionnaires, tables, statistics, some sort of views, shapes, examples, and also quotations. But in the TOEFL exam, you don't have most of the things to support your idea. You can only give some examples that you remember. Actually, you should give them. And also, sometimes you need to support your examples as well. But if you are limited by time, you don't need to examine all the things deeply. Actually, you should give only the examples that you can explain. This part will be the main body of your essay, and it may consist of more than one paragraph. In the main body, or each paragraph of the main body, usually can be described one of the major steps in the process. You need to give some examples to support your idea in here. For example, if you are asked something about your favorite movie star, it is not enough to say only his or her name. You also need to give some reasons to explain your choice. Why do you like A instead of B? Or why do you like A more than B? What are the basic distinguishing features of him or her from the other movie stars? Or if you are asked something about how to create a blog, you need to give at least 2 or 3 major steps, and then you should explain them with some supporting details. And lastly, the final part. An essay should end with a conclusion part, of course, and this part should restate your main idea again. Maybe you may remind the readers why the process is important, or maybe you can encourage them to follow the process with success.